At the current rate of global warming, 80% of these islands could be uninhabitable by 2050.
With the population of about 400,000 people, Maldives is a large group of islands found in the southern tip of India. Located in the Indian Ocean, Maldives is covered by white beaches, palm trees, and a natural landscape. As the smallest country in southern Asia, it spreads across an area of 298 square kilometers with 1,200 individual coral islands. The 2,500-old nation covers a length of 870 kilometers from north to south and a width of 130 kilometers from east to west. With beaches and scattered nature forming the top attractions, tourism is the main economy of the island. But these islands have one very large problem. They are sinking into the sea at a faster rate because of climate change.
IPCC report says is countries like the Maldives have just about 2 to 3 decades before the worst impacts of climate change hits us, unless we take action now.
Maldives is one of these nations that are calling for more climate funding from the developed world. They want the rich nations to do more to save them.
Existence is in danger. The fear is rising that the seas surrounding it could eventually wipe the lush tropical paradise right off of the map.
So the first shocking thing is that as beautiful as this country is, it is disappearing. Expert has estimated that in the next 30 years, this country might disappoint us by disappearing completely into the seas due to the rising sea levels. So will you let the Maldives to sink without you visiting, or you will look for ways to provide a solution to these people? It is an entire country, but all the population there, everyone is crying because they seem to be homeless. They do not actually want this for their descendants, so that is why they cry to the world for people who come to enjoy here that they can look for a way in order to resolve this issue of climate change that is making the entire country to disappear. Maldives, being one of the top destinations for tourists or people who want to do adventure, is crying because in the next 30 years you may have nowhere known as the Maldives to visit.
So I don't want to leave the Maldives. I don't want our country to relocate to another country, but the question is, if we fail to take action, I think that's the reality that we will have to face at the end of the day.
What happens around the world when we have this kind of mass migration?
Is a dream location for many, a tropical idyll for travelers across the globe. But climate change could wipe it off the map.
Our islands are slowly being inundated by the sea one by one. If we do not reverse this trend, the Maldives will cease to exist by the end of this century.
It is a desperate cry for help.
40% of the global population are now living within 100 kilometers of the sea. Other islands and major coastal cities like Shanghai and Mumbai are affected by rising sea levels.
The last coral bleaching event was in 2016, and about 60% of corals were affected then.
Without coral reefs, they're wide open to those rising waters. Nearly all islands are suffering severe erosion. Sea level has risen a half inch every year since 1950, which may not sound like a lot until you realize that in 2016, the Maldives lost their front line of defense.